blocks of Birchman Avenue from PD 449 Plan Development for Church and Parking and B2 Family to PDSU for all uses allowed in B2 Family plus church-related expansion and parking.
Yes, we have a card from Jim Dunaway, and who's going to also speak, and Darla Vaughn is going to speak on behalf of the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association. They have, it's kind of rare we have two people sign the same card who are on opposing sides of this at one time, but it's a unity that can only happen.
Jim, introduce Ed and Bill and Clyde.
Mr. Mayor, with me today is Clyde Crawford, Ted Kitchens, and Bill Engler from Christ Chapel Bible Church, Darla Vaughn from Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association. Mr. Stevenson asked us to just give you a heads up on what has been accomplished over the last month or so. And I was going to give you a little bit of the physical changes to the plan, and then Darla was going to talk a little bit about the boundary agreements that have been done. Just in general, we need to zoom that out a little bit more. This is the adult education building, which used to be in this location. And what we've been able to do is to move this mass of the building from closer to the neighborhood over across the street on Birchman. At the same time, the sanctuary was able to move away from the Pershing frontage. The child care areas are still located here. This is a future multi-story parking garage that would support the church and its growth. This is a bridge that will go over Birchman. All those things were done with a desire of moving this building mass away from the north and west and more toward Montgomery and I-30. If you put that one up on. And what you're going to see here next month is something like this. The church and the sanctuary there on the right, on the north side of Birchman. You can see the bridge over Birchman connecting the education building with the church sanctuary complex. And this is basically the view that you'll see from Montgomery as you enter the cultural district at this location. So the church was very pleased to work this out with the neighborhood. It's what we wanted to do. I left town and they worked it out while I was gone. And it was
Made a lot of difference, Joe.
Pardon?
It made a lot of difference.
I didn't have to go to any of the meetings at all. It was really great.
If we could put the site plan back up, please. I'd like to talk about boundaries. Through our negotiations over the last, really 6 months, but really a bulk of the work was done over the last 6 weeks, what the neighborhood and the church agreed to was for all of the property that is west of Owasso, which is the street here, and north of the alley between Pershing and Ocampo, that property would not be pursued by the church, nor would any zoning applications be made for that property for 23 years. So that does give us security on that boundary in our neighborhood. The property north of Pershing on the north block face, these houses here, and then this is between Owasso and Margaret, and all the way to Montgomery, which is another singular block here. These houses would remain in place. Again, the church would not pursue additional property on that block face, and it would remain secure for 7 years, being maintained and used as a residential property. Missionaries can live in the homes that the church currently owns. And the agreement that really works for the neighborhood, that was very concerned of ours, was we were afraid that we were looking at parking lots right here. And for a while, that was the issue that the church was talking about. Well, what we came up with was rather than placing parking lots along the north face of Pershing, the church will build at least 170 spaces, equivalent to what could be put on that block face of Pershing in a structured parking, prior to applications being made to raise homes on this block and put parking lots there. So we feel like we've got a very secure plan. It's one that the neighbors and the property owners can know that's finite. And we understand with the church what their direction is in their growth and their development of their campus. So I commend the church for the efforts that they've made. We really appreciate them coming to the table and making such drastic changes to their plan. But we also want to thank Councilman Stevenson for giving us the opportunity to go back to the mat and work this out. So thank you very much. There are several in our camp that are very glad you brought that today.
Give him a second.
Must have been back in my playing days. At pre-council, I talked a little bit about what you've just heard in brief. And I believe over these last 5 weeks, 4 meetings, about 3 hours a night, whatever, we started off with apprehensiveness, a bit of anger, whatnot, and moved very rapidly because of the direction of people like this, and because of the basic feeling that nobody liked where we were in relationships. The church was unhappy with it, the neighborhood was unhappy with it, and they wanted to be positive to work it out. And that's what they've done. This group has done this. I believe this is a fair plan. I believe it related to the greatest concerns on the neighborhood. I believe the church made significant changes in their footprint and locations of things and commitments in terms of parameters and a future garage, etc. And I commend you all. My vote today will be to send this back to the zoning commission. There will be new site plan, there will be new zoning review. Along with it will be this list of MOU that you have seen before you. It will bear the signatures of the individuals who were involved in this program in terms of their commitment to this. Hopefully it'll be back to us on May 18th for a final vote on it. But let me tell you again, this was democracy in action. I appreciate your openness. I appreciate your compromising. I appreciate working this out. And I congratulate all of you and those who couldn't be with us today. I'd like to give you a round of applause. Clyde, Ted, Bill, anybody have anything you'd like to say? Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all of you. Was that a motion, Mr. Stevenson?
That is a motion. It's moved and seconded.
I move the second to send this particular case back to zoning. To any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Great work. Thanks to all, everybody involved.
Zoning docket number CC 04